On this week's show, we'll be breaking down the full Nintendo Direct, the Borderlands 4 reviews are in, and is the Virtual Boy the answer to VR? All that and much, much more in this week's GamerGuild Podcast. Good game, everyone, and welcome back to the GamerGuild Podcast, your weekly show where we round up all the week's video game stories and news for your listening or viewing pleasure right here on youtube.com/GoogleTV and up there in the digital cloud on your podcast preference of choice.
Forward slash what?
What did I say?
Google TV.
Did I say Google TV?
You said Google TV. Has it been a long week, Richie?
It has, but I wouldn't care. I was actually reading it as I was talking as well.
It doesn't say Google TV, but yeah.
Yeah, you can watch it on your Google TV, though. You can do that if you've got one. Do you actually do use your Google TV? I saw the remote out last week when I was around.
Yes, I still use the old Chromecast with the remote. Yeah. I've got one of everything now. I've got a Fire Stick. I've got a Chromecast. Yeah. I've got an Apple 4K. One that I got with my broadband provider that I no longer use. So I've just got like this, I guess, £100 worth of Apple TV box and remote sat there. But
I feel it's dead tech now, though. Then
it's because your smart TVs just had to do it all. So why get the extra thing?
It's like they were good when smart TVs were shit, but now smart TVs are good. Then they're pointless.
Yeah, it's a
unless you've got a dodgy Fire Stick. That's the only time people seem to have them.
Nobody uses dodgy Fire Sticks.
Or an old TV. Actually, our TV in the living room's an old TV, so we do have a real Fire Stick in there. And technically, actually, the TV in the living room, we've got a Fire Stick in, a real Fire Stick in there. That's for Xbox reasons, which I completely forgot I put in there.
Streaming. I always forget until I boot up the Fire Stick in the front room, and I see adverts for games, and then I get like that double take of like, oh shit, Amazon Luna is like still a thing. And it passes by on the banner. I think they're like promoting FC26 at the moment. And I'm like, good for you, Luna. Good for you.
See, I only use the Fire Stick in the bedroom. I don't use the one in the telly. That was just, it was from my house. So when I moved with my girlfriend, like, her smart TV is so much better than mine. Mm-hmm. And I just stuck it in because I had the Xbox capabilities, but I never actually used it. So, to the point where I forgot I had it.
Well, your bedroom activities aside. Welcome to Google TV, folks.
Watching a bit of telly in bed. That's how we do it here at the GamerGuild Podcast, which you can get on youtube.com/GamerGuildTV. But we do have a great show lined We do have a great show lined up for you. But before we get into it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you're kept in the loop with all the amazing content here at GamerGuildTV, such as episode 10 of Pokemon actually went live. I recorded some Pokemon.
With a slight hiatus of how many weeks?
It was like 2 months between episodes 9 and 10.
It's 25 plus year old now. It's what's another few weeks?
It's just one of them. I think I recorded a lot before I went on holiday, but since I got back I just haven't been able to I just haven't got round to it.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, there's been some pretty damn good games come out in that time that I've been playing. That's distracted me.
Very good games. Very good games. Mm-hmm. Shall I introduce myself to the podcast this week now?
Nah, I think if you don't know who this guy is, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Please be excited for my announcement. I'm Chris. I'm one of the co-hosts here at GamerGuildTV. And I'm excited to do our 480th episode together, Richie.
Me too. Me too. But you've also been playing something else. Something that we've been talking about recently.
Yeah, a few things. I'll kickstart things off with I've been playing this week. I finished Metal Gear Solid Delta. What a thrill.
Story or platinum?
Oh, I'm not going for the platinum. I looked at the details for the Foxhound mode, and it's basically complete the whole game without killing anyone or being seen. Like, triggering the caution alert, and I do not have the life energy in me to even comprehend starting that run.
I'm going to try it.
Well, that's why you can be Solid Snake, and I'll just be old man Snake.
I've been reading some guides, and if like you have like their like some of the high-end camos and stuff you can get off some of the boss fights,
Yeah.
you can actually basically abuse saves.
Yeah, I've seen that where basically as soon as it triggers, you
Yeah.
go back and make 100 save slots.
Some of the guides I've been saying, I've gone, look, the 5-hour time limit to complete the game is actually quite generous. I'm sat here like, is it fuck? But
I guess
a lot
if
of
you
people are
take
saying
out
you
the
can do it in
cutscenes-
2 hours.
Take out the cutscenes and there's probably not much
Yeah.
game there.
Yeah, if you're not worrying about collectibles or like cutscenes and stuff, and you just, if you assume to make a mistake, just load a save and try again. I think it is doable.
I mean, ultimately, the game is a lot of go to an area, go from A to B. New area, A to B. New area, A to B. Filled with 20 minutes of cutscenes, A to B, A to B. Like, it is very linear, realistically, if you're not looking, as you said, for collectibles, little froggies or anything like that. But yeah, I finished the story, and it was one of those where it gets to the end. I guess spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 3, it's 20-odd-year-old, but I just really enjoyed it. It was one of those where just there's something about that Kojima magic where, yes, it's a bit messy. The end boss fight is a little bit clunky in parts. Where are you at now? Have you finished it too, or story-wise?
I finished it. I'm currently playing a second run for collectibles, and I'm back up to the end.
Right, okay. So a quick turnaround time there. So yeah, you know the bit with the bike at the end when the Shagohod's chasing you? It's like, what even is happening here? Where it seems to be like very jarringly cutting from camera angle to camera angle. And I'm thinking like, am I supposed to be accelerating here? And the shooting is all a bit over the place, and it is what it is. But ultimately,
there is some jank there, which you think in the remake they would have fixed.
You would have done, but ultimately still thoroughly enjoyed the acting in it, the musical score. Like, some of the plot is very, very cheesy, and all honesty, David Hayter's acting in it is so poor. Like, just the character of Snake. I don't know whether it's the way it was written or the way it was delivered. It's so wooden. Of just like there's things happening around him, and he's just like, that's pretty strange, right? But he's for someone who's like an absolute, like, supposed to be in the top of his game as a soldier, he falls foul of a lot of things. He gets surrounded a lot by enemies. He's getting tricked a lot by enemies. He gets captured. He gets injured a lot. He loses every fight he comes up against a boss seemingly, and it's just like. But ultimately, he's the hero, and very much like James Bond, he wins the day. He kind of gets the girl in a way, but it is that thing. There's a few of the cutscenes where he's just like, "Oh, Snake, read the room."
Yeah,
but it's cheesy and it's drawn out. But there was a part like with the music and the crescendo and the I guess the real world politics of the depth of the story. I couldn't help but get to the end
into its own.
And
that's
be like,
where
that
Kojima's,
was yeah.
That's where Kojima's writing's at its best, when it's going into the politics, like the geopolitics and his fake twists on things and that kind of stuff. Sometimes Snake's dialogue is a bit odd. There's some weird stuff in the game, like the end's eyeball just pops out for no reason.
Yeah, I mean, I get making the villains kind of like extraordinary.
But like when I was first playing the game, they kept talking about the Philosopher's Legacy. I thought it was like, all right, that's going to probably explain why these guys have these weird powers. But no, it's just money.
They're just Cobra unit
and they have powers. Just that's just it.
They are probably explained somewhere in deep lore in another game or a spin-off like Metal Gear Acid on the PSP. It's probably explained in there somewhere in a codec document. But I couldn't help laugh at some of the. As you go through the game, you save at the codec points of. I don't know if you got the James Bond one. When you dial up and the paramedics run him like, "Hey, Snake, have you seen From Russia with Love?" And he's like, I did. Yeah. I don't like spy movies. And it's like, oh, I thought you'd love them. And then she goes in to explain everything about it in James Bond. And then she'll go on to say, like, do you think they'll be still making those in the 21st century? And it's like, it's ironic because, yes, they absolutely are. And obviously Snake's kind of that, like, full circle, James Bond-esque. Yeah. Gets the girl, always the hero, fights some villains, like geopolitical storylines, Cold War, all that. And Snake's just there going, I don't really like movies. Yeah. Okay. I guess you've got other hobbies of eating raw animals on a stick.
That was one where that's Kojima completely taking liberties. He's a massive cinephile. We all know this. Yeah. He could have just had a save button, but no, you had to ring someone up to tell them to save the game, and then they're going to tell you about a movie before you can get back into it.
Ever seen Godzilla? I don't really like dinosaur movies. It's like, okay, it's about that Tokyo gets attacked. It's like, you don't need to. He's on a secret operative mission undercover where surely you'd want to keep radio comms at a low, and she's like, oh, guess what I did at the weekend, Snake?
I kind of love some of the conversations where it just breaks the fourth wall, where it's kind of going, telling you the detail of the mission and going, to do this, you must walk up to it and press the action button.
Yeah, it does. It is like very like immersion breaking to a degree. Yeah. Press the start key and then move. And I will say as well, right at the very end, the escort mission with Eva is so random. When they fall off the motorbike, and just want to say physics of it all. So, fall off the motorbike, he hits a tree, she gets trajected forward, motorbike blows up. All of a sudden, she's at the bottom of the hill to the right of the crash, skewered from the opposite angle of the trajectory on a tree trunk. So she's essentially flew off, ricocheted back somehow like a cartoon character onto a sharp spike, and that apparently is her done, even though Snake has been shot through the head amongst all the other things that have happened to him. And he's fine. He's like, I'll live. I'll just bandage this one up and use some sutures.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking good, though. I loved every moment of it, and I kept having the itch to go back. And now I'm just at that point where I cannot wait for them to like confirm what they do next, because they can either go into a Peace Walker and bring that over to like home consoles for the first time if they really want to drag this out, or they could go into full Metal Gear Solid 1 timeline. Because chronologically, I believe it's Peace Walker next. I think that takes place 10 years after 3. So if they are going down the chronological route, it could give them a good gap. Again, we've said time and time again, haven't we, about that like Kojima gap? That like the longer time moves on, I guess the less pain there is in that kind of dynamic and that memory of how they treat him back in the early 2000s. Yeah. But what do you think, Richie?
I've loved it. What I've liked it so much is that it's been very refreshing in that it plays like its own game. It like nowadays, like I think we talked about this last week a bit, where half the games are basically open world action RPGs. They all have basically the same menus, basically the same layout. You go places to get quests. There's so much that's just copy and paste, the backbone of all the games. Metal Gear Solid does feel like I can't think of another game that plays the same way.
It's very unique.
It is everything from the menus to how it is actually a stealth action game. Like the game in the early cutscenes hammers a home that you try not to kill anyone. Like you're meant to be in and out without anyone having a clue you're there, so you be non-lethal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your favourite boss fight? Because they throw them at you thick and fast.
They do. I think some the fear was pretty decent, but sometimes it could be a right pain in the arse. Non-lethal, it can be a pain in the arse. So you figure out the trick to him. Because if you do non-lethal, you have to deplete the stamina bar instead of the health bar, and then he just jumps off a tree and eats some food, and you can't stop him. Mm-hmm. Then you realise, actually, if you just pick up all the food and just chuck down poisonous food, he just poisons himself. Yeah,
it's so multi-layered, isn't it? Like I know I mentioned it with the end. I think the end is my favourite one, just because of like the tactics of it. It gives you multiple areas. You have to scope him out. It's little things like you can shoot his parrot, because he uses the parrot as a scout. So if you shoot the parrot, it lessens his ability to find you, and it's like that's such like extra level of layers to a boss fight. Like most games just don't do now.
I've only played the end fight once, and I found it quite boring because I kept losing him. And it was like, I'm in this area, I'm running around, I'm like stalking around looking for him, and he's probably in one of 2 other areas. Yeah. So nothing's happening. Did you use your microphone, your directional mic, to listen for him? No, I was using my night vision though. But if he's in a different area, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, because it won't pick him up anywhere. Yeah, I tend to wander around for a bit, wait till he shoots me, and then I go, aha, he's in this area. And then start hunting him down. But overall, absolutely fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And then I moved on to Hollow Knight Silksong for a first view. I did that this weekend, so it's up on the channel now for members. And it's on Game Pass. So I thought, you know what? I started playing Hollow Knight, as I said, on my Switch 2, the original game. And it was good enough. I thought, you know what? I'll just make that jump to the sequel and just see what it's about and if it's any different. And it is just more Hollow Knight.
Did about an hour and a bit. Got down, I think, 2 boss fights down. Fully enjoy it. Still the similar Metroidvania frustrations that me and you don't like in games. Like, I think I died on one of the boss fights and it resets you right back to a checkpoint so far down the maze that you've got to remember which pathway to take to get back to even start the fight. That was very frustrating, even just after like an hour of play. So I can imagine being 10 hours in, why my time with these type of games doesn't ever really see it through, because I just get frustrated. I unfortunately died because I got hit unexpectedly.
You feel like you want an autosave before you go into something like a boss fight.
Yeah, just start me right out the front of it. And then just, a couple of little niggly things like that. That genuine like that, I think it comes, and I mentioned it in the first look, that's up now, that nature of, because I'm such a trophy hunter, I want to search everywhere. So giving me an opportunity on a map to go up, down, left or right with no route backwards, or if you can fall down a chasm, you've potentially just missed 3 or 4 right turns. I think deep under my skin that irritates me, where I don't like not knowing where I've been, where I haven't been, and what I've missed from a collectible standpoint.
Yeah, I get that. The counterpoint to that is some people actually love that, because it locks you out of sometimes they lock you out of previous areas, still getting new ability, which then allows you to backtrack and get more stuff. 100%. And sometimes it's like building that, especially the older ones, it was like building that mental map of where have you been, and going, oh, that's an interesting thing, I have no idea what to do with it, I'll come back to that later.
Yeah, and there was totally that element in it, and you watch, I think I got near the end and I died at the boss fight and I was ready to like wrap up the stream, and I thought, like, took a deep breath and went, you know what, no, I can do this fight, and I sorted it back out, I did it, completed it, and I was like, right, I'm glad I did that. I had that satisfaction. And you're completely right, once I got like 1 or 2 upgrades, I felt stronger, I felt more prepared, and realistically, because of the clever level design, I ended up being able to familiarise with certain areas, and I was able to loop back to a save point once or twice. It is good.
Does it have a decent map system?
I'm not too sure. You can purchase maps from one of the like shops.
Yeah, but I mean, does it have a map that it uncovers as you play through the game?
So you need the perks. You need to buy the map, and then after that you need to buy a compass, and the compass allows you to show where you're at on the map, and then you can purchase another item which allows you to pinpoint where the rest save points are on the map. So you almost like have to build the map in layers based on collectibles. So you have to search out like these little what they're called, rosary beads in the game, and you trade the rosary bead for these map upgrades. So I think at some point you will have a fully realised map and know where you are a lot better. How much of the gameplay that takes to gather up, I'm not too sure. But again, it's one of those where overall gameplay is gorgeous. It ran really well on xCloud, I will say. Played it on Xbox Cloud Gaming, worked fine bar 1 or 2 stutters in about middle of the playthrough. Graphics stunning, art style gorgeous. The world they've designed, that kind of like mechanical bug world underground, very, very cool. Storyline's fun, and I can completely see why there's like 500,000 people playing this on Steam right now, and it will be in probably most Game of the Year conversations. If not, it'll absolutely smash. Well, I'd say Indie Game of the Year, but then Expedition 33 came out of nowhere, so it's going to be a very interesting year come December. But thoroughly enjoyed my playthrough, and I definitely recommend anyone who's got Game Pass to at least check it out, because it might just tick your box.
It's the first one on Game Pass.
I'm not sure. I have it on the Switch. I'm sure at some point it was on PlayStation Plus and probably Game Pass. It would make sense if they were going to strike a deal for the sequel to keep the original there, but I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure it's probably only £6-7 if you were to purchase it anywhere.
Yes, Hollow Knight is on Game Pass.
Sweet. There you go then. You got all the games. And aside from that, Richie, I've been building the behemoth that is behind me in the real world. Anyone who's watched the show a long time will have noticed this collection has moved from 3 rooms now. So hopefully this is its final resting place. Dug out all my collection behind me. And I'm glad to have it out of its boxes.
Yeah, I helped.
Did you?
Yeah, I took the delivery of it when we were
out. Oh, yeah, you did, yeah. I was like, you weren't here when I built it. You didn't lug all the boxes up the stairs.
I just happened to be walking past your front. I think it was your wife, like, answered the door, and I just happened to be stood there, so I just started getting boxes handed to me.
Helping out.
Yeah, so I did help.
You could have come help and build it, because that was a pain in the ass.
You didn't ask me to.
It's all done now. No, I wouldn't put you out like that. But all done now. I'm happy to have my collection on display. And my kind of games room is starting to come together right now. I just need a TV.
Yeah,
I've lost the TV I had. It's gone in another part of the house, so I need a big TV. So if anyone knows any decent, I'm looking for probably about 42, 43-inch TV.
I have
Let
one.
me know in the comments. I don't want yours.
No, it's like my old one for my house. from my house.
Maybe then. We'll see. We'll talk about, we'll talk about it. But yeah, lots of games, lots of playing, and some big announcements and launches coming up. So busy all round. You can tell it's coming up to Christmas now.
Indeed.
Less than 100 days come Monday. Less than 100 days already.
But talking about Christmas, would you like to introduce us to
the graciously gathered Gamer Guild Gazette, a.k.a. the news?
The news, and as always, our news is brought to you by our Gamer Guild heroes, which you can join for as little as 99p over on the YouTube channel, which did give you early access to Pokemon Blue before it came out for everyone else.
And Silksong.
And Silksong got early access, so sometimes we do early access for some of our videos. So thank you very much for your support. I hope you enjoyed them. First news story, Chris. Nintendo have done a Direct.
Yes.
It was kind of late announced, this one, wasn't it?
They tend to follow this cadence nowadays where they just announce it late and they go early. And I know it usually catches a lot of the kind of games journalists out because it always happens in Japan at a time zone. That means the stateside, they have to get up really early. So I think a lot of them either miss it or don't cover it. Or they begrudgingly do it because they have to drag themselves out of bed because Japan time and Pacific time doesn't line up that nicely.
For me, Sony did the worst for it, but it's there. Oh, by the way, it's one of them. It's like, oh, by the way, we're doing a Direct tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the notice. Like, couldn't you have told us a week in advance?
Yeah, it was at 2 p.m. in the afternoon in the UK.
Yeah.
So
even if we were both wouldn't have been free to cover it anyway because work.
Work.
Yeah. So where do you want to start with this? Because
I've watched it since then, so I've made an actual chronological breakdown of everything that we saw. Some great, some were good, some just there for filler's sake. It did run for just over an hour as well, so it was a lengthy Direct, which I think going into it, even with the short turnaround time, we knew to expect quite a few things. It also predated Mario's 40th anniversary by 1 day, so we knew there was going to be kind of some Mario news.
Yeah.
I think just work down it chronologically, and if there's any big elements, we'll pick out. Any lighter stuff, we'll maybe just skim over.
Yeah, so I mean, the first item up was the the sequel to the Super Mario movie. It's going to be based on Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah, they showed off a really good trailer for this one.
It's literally called the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah, the way they showed you like the lovely world. They actually had the kind of like the head of Illuminate, the company the movie that makes Minions, the animation company. Their head came in and he basically said like, "Oh yes, we're doing another Mario movie. Here it is, can't wait." And in the trailer they basically showed off like the lovely world, Mario sat under a tree, the Princess Castle. They showed you what's the little mole guy? Is he called Monty Mole? I think he is in the games.
I can't remember actually.
You see Monty Mole. I'm going to go with Monty Mole. I'm sure that's what he's called. You see him, and it kind of pans across to the castle. You see Princess Peach in the stained glass, and then it follows a butterfly right up to the clouds, and then it just keeps going, and then we're in space, Richie, and it's like the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and it's like, and then the music changes and it clips in. It's like, here we go. And I think it's an interesting take. They're not doing another, I guess, immediate follow-up to the original so successful movie. I think the first movie grossed over $1 billion, so there was always going to be a follow-up. And, I mean, Galaxy 1 and 2, very highly revered.
It's not a bad idea. It's like how I haven't actually seen the Mario movie yet.
Haven't you?
No, it's like how do you follow it up? It's like, well, we'll put him in space. Because Mario's been in space loads of times. Do you remember the Game Boy game?
Yeah, he's been all over the shop, quite literally. I guess there's a set of precedents that we're going to have the Galaxy movie. At the end of the Mario movie, spoilers, they do show a small clip of Yoshi. So everyone thought like, oh, it's going to just continue on. But I think it'll just be the same characters. I think it'll just have a story that maybe introduces other worlds rather than explore the Mushroom Kingdom. Because we kind of saw a little bit of that in the first movie. And we saw the other connected kingdoms with like Bowser's area and Donkey Kong Land and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, it's a good way to expand the cast as well, actually. Because I think I've only played bits of Mario Galaxy. But there's a new princess character...
Rosalina,
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, Rosalina. Yeah, the one in like the blue dress. Yeah, I think so. I reckon she'll be introduced in this, which is then expanding the cast of the movies.
Yeah, yes, it is Rosalina, right? Because the next story ticks on up. But I think it's good because again, they could easily just call it Super Mario Movie 2 and follow that tradition, but I like the thought they're just like, no, it's something different. It's a bit colourful. And again, Galaxy is revered by a lot of people as the best 3D platformers. One of them,
they're
them,
definitely up there. They're definitely up there. And actually, to go alongside this, like, we love a bit of synergy, don't we, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
They also announced Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are making a return to Switch consoles.
Yes.
Just straight, it looks like a straight re-release.
Yep, repackaged. We should point out as well, we had Super Mario Galaxy 1, if you remember, as part of the Mario 3D All-Stars, did they call it?
The one that sold for about 6 months for no reason.
The limited run one?
Yeah. Like you have.
I do have, and I haven't even opened it yet.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, because it's limited run, I'm like, okay, because I have played the games before, so it's like I don't need to necessarily. And because it was limited run, I think I jumped on it. And then when it actually came, I was like, do I need to play this right now, or will I hold off? So yeah, they've kind of repackaged that. They've included Galaxy 2 now. So as you said, that synergy is there, whereas, these ones have been confirmed to be coming out 2nd of October, so you don't have to wait too long. But I think in terms of the movie coming next year, April 2026 to be precise, I think it's a perfect bit of synergy. Get these out before Christmas, start building hype and awareness, I guess, for the movie in a way.
Yeah.
They did say in a weird part of the video that you collect note pages or pages from a book within this game, I believe. Rosalina's Diary or something. They did say they've gone back in and added new pages for you to find, so they're kind of like retconning the game a little bit with journal entries. Does that tie in with whatever the movie plot perhaps is? So it's like maybe a bit more clearly aligned?
I don't know. I feel like you should not try to align the games and the movies, because then you're just backing yourself into a corner. I suppose actually with Mario there could just be Easter eggs for the movies, because it's not exactly it has a tight narrative running through from game to game.
No, it doesn't. No, certainly not.
The one thing I'm curious about is, do these games require motion controls? Because they are Wii games and Wii U games.
I don't think Galaxy did on the All-Star Collection, because that came out for the Switch, didn't it? So that wouldn't necessarily have the motion control, so I think it's already been repurposed for that. They did say, I think, as well, as part of this, which I'm thinking you said about, it's like synergy. Is it a coincidence that we didn't get a new Mario game yet? Instead, if you remember, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza from the Mario Odyssey team. Does this line up with even better synergy, Richie, where we see Galaxy 1 and 2 repackaged, remastered, coming out now for Switch and Switch 2. Then we get the movie next year. And then maybe next summer direct, or this time next year in September, we get the announcement of Mario Galaxy 3 from the Odyssey team. Like, that would be like a nice... Because I feel like it just seems like there's a lot leading towards, actually, you know what? A third entry would be perfectly plausible and probably welcome with open arms.
Yeah, I want to say no, because I think it goes a bit against Nintendo's like design philosophy, because Nintendo tend not to do direct sequels to games unless they have unexplored content, which is why, say, Tears of the Kingdom exists, because they had these ideas which didn't fit into the first game, so they made a direct sequel. Same thing with Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. But with Mario games especially, they try to work on what's the gimmick, what's the gameplay hook, and then build the game from there. So I can't see them making another Galaxy game for the sake of another Galaxy game. They'd have to have a really cool take on an idea that happened to fit perfectly. Yeah.
Well, time will tell. It's got to be not imminent, but it feels like it's been so long. It's been like 9 years since Odyssey, right? It's mad to think we haven't had a 3D Mario game, like a proper, for nearly a decade.
But this is why we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, because the gameplay loop they came up with suited Donkey Kong better.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop their main man not having a video game.
True. They'll use them when they've got an idea for them. And I bet you they've got tons of ideas for them. They're just either not good enough, because they'll be very particular with Mario. Yes. Or it's just not quite the right time. Maybe this year Donkey Kong was the better one suited to launch the Switch 2. Yeah. So Mario comes next year.
Yeah, keep that cadence ticking over. They're clearly, by the end of this news story, when we get through it all, you will see they have a very stacked beginning to 2026. I know we kind of lamented them a little bit for how slow the end of the original Switch generation was, like trickling out, remaster, they're running out of things, and there wasn't any real announcements. And then now the Switch 2's out, I guess you fire on all cylinders now, right?
Yeah, going into February next year, we're getting a new Mario Tennis game, Mario Tennis Fever.
Fever. Indeed,
It's more Mario Tennis. Like,
it feels like the Mario games definitely have, over the last 40 years, they've branched out into so many genres, but the genres in the games themselves have been so well revered and received and sold well that they just keep going back to it. And I think the sports entries, they do benefit from, similar to the likes of FIFA and Madden and the like, of like, actually, a new entry every couple of years, it's sports, so it doesn't... I guess people expect a new entry just by default because it's inherently sports. It's seasonal. It's rotational. It happens every year anew. So people aren't stung by it.
I feel like they just want one new game per platform. So this is a Switch 2 Mario Tennis game. I wouldn't expect another one till the next Nintendo console.
Yeah. Well, we got Mario Aces right for the last one.
Yeah.
Mario Tennis
and
Aces, was it?
We've got a Mario Kart game. We're getting Mario Tennis Fever. It'll probably be golf, or we've got soccer as well for the original Switch. So that you'll either get a Switch 2.
Hot shots?
Yeah, you'll either get a Switch 2 version of that or something, or a new game. But yeah, I think it is because that cadence. It is actually probably about 5-10 years between tennis games.
Yeah. Was it Mario Strikers? Or All-Star Strikers, I think. I can't remember what it was. Mario Strikers series. I think 2020.
Super Mario Strikers.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
It's just Super Mario Strikers.
So I think they've got a good cadence going with them. The trailer did show off as well, like just like new different perks and stuff. They said one of the gimmicks of this one is like they're called Fever Rackets, where you can get like specials like Fire Racket and Ice Racket that add like elemental and physical differences to things, like duplicate your racket, turn people into invisible people, like lots of things. In a couple of mini games, I think they said there's going to be 30 Fever Rackets. All like your typical cast of characters are going to show up, similar to Mario Kart. They introduced like a little mini story campaign where all the crew get shrunk down to baby versions of themselves. So that's how they get like Baby Mario and stuff in there, Baby Luigi. And
which literally just doubles your cast list.
It does, yeah. And then they also end up in like a little mini game where you've got a little 3D world to explore, and you use the mechanics of the tennis game to play like just multiple mini games, like Brick Breaker games and Hit the Target games, and I think they showed like an adventure level where you're on a flying pirate ship. So they're clearly adding a couple more layers to it just being a tennis game. And as you said, kickstarts the air off February 12th. Don't know when the tennis season really starts, but it's kind of...
I don't think it matters for soccer. Yeah.
Nah, not really.
It's not sticking to the actual tennis season. Moving on, we're getting a Switch 2 version of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which that came out in 2023. I thought that was last year.
I would have said Wonder was probably last year as well, yeah.
It was October 2023.
It just shows you how many games we get. They did a couple of times. They actually mentioned, I think somewhere in this, there was a whole slew of Mario games were going to get their own version. So they showed off like Mario Golf, and basically every Mario game that came out on the Switch seemingly is getting a Switch 2 edition. And that's one of the things for me that let down parts of the Direct. It felt like it was just Nintendo being Nintendo, but at the same time it was like, come on guys, like you don't need to put out a Switch 2 version for everything. But I think it got to me more because I don't think, even though PlayStation, Xbox, we know do it, I don't think they like promote it as like a huge new thing. And some of the pricing has been quite structured awkwardly. So I think the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 bundle I think is £70, maybe 80 physically. So
that seems steep for...
Yeah, but then again, so was the All-Stars package, so they know what they've got. They know that quality
people
seal
buy
of approval. Well, yeah, exactly,
yeah.
And it holds the price so well. So
they are adding more content into Super Mario Bros. Wonder, including a new mode called Meetup in Bella Bell Park, which seems to be an online focused mini game hub.
Yeah, they showed you it in the trailer. It was like, as you said, a new hub area with a couple of kind of different biomes to go into. which opens up into just new styles of levels. They introduced a couple more mini games that you could do like cooperative, because for those who haven't played Wonder, it's up to 4-player co-op, like on screen.
Yeah.
Lots of little like mini games using the typical Switch 2 features and stuff. Looks fun. The interesting thing off the back of it, I think, just to make a point while we're talking about this particular game, is the flower in the game that helps you with the Wonder specials. He speaks. So unlike most Mario games, he actually has like full dialogue. And Miyamoto-san was on the screen, and he held up a real talking flower. And they're selling it, Richie. So forget your Nintendo alarm, or was it called? The alarm clock?
Yeah.
They are actually promoting a talking flower as a purchasable accessory that they said in the video talks freely whenever it wants. So I don't know why you would buy this, but it's there. It's releasing in spring 2026, and it will, I guess, sit nicely alongside your Piranha Plant webcam for the Switch 2. I think it'll look
beautiful on the shelf behind you.
If I can fit it on, quite possibly. But yeah, they did a lot basically to celebrate like Mario's 40th anniversary, and one last game.
Both the Switch 2 versions of Wonder and the Talking Flower are due for spring 2026. We're getting Yoshi game, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, launches in spring 2026. Mysterious Book, could that link into the Pages stuff you're talking about for Galaxy?
No. It's just this one happens to be centered around a book. Or a book, depending on where you're from. This kind of rounded out the Mario block, because I guess Yoshi's directly inherently attached to Mario. To its credit, though, all the Yoshi games, I think, have looked super stylized. The Woolly World one was gorgeous when that one came out, and we know he's had like multiple entries. But again, back to classic Nintendo of just they're able to take these little sub-characters, give them their own spin-offs and their own franchises, like you alluded to, but have their own specific type of gameplay that links in with them. We've had Donkey Kong Bonanza, but then this one it's Yoshi. He's got a mysterious book that it's called. It was something to do with an E, because the guy's called like Mr. Encyclopedia. So the book is called Mr. E, and he's sentient and he can talk. And you go into each level, it seems, and you're looking for like mysterious flowers or wildlife. Beautiful art style, kind of like hand drawn, but with an element of like 3D overlay. So like we have like 2.5D, but it's a mixture of like hand animation, like pencil drawn, and like your typical Nintendo like Donkey Kong style. It's
got the kind of lower frame rates and some of the animations of like a Spider-Verse, almost like an old fashioned kind of thing. I bet you it's actually running at 60 frames per second, but looks like it isn't.
Yeah. Lots of little environmental things, like you use certain flowers to break down certain areas. I think they show like dandelions destroying boulders, which I didn't realise dandelions were that strong. And then your typical Yoshi exploration. You climb into bubbles, use your wiggly feet, you do a bit of surfing. Yeah, but Yoshi and the Mysterious Book coming spring 2026. So again, stacked. Don't think it'll be a huge seller, but I think it'll be very popular. And it appeals to that like family world, and it'll be a very competent, fun game. That's for sure.
Yeah. Next up, we had Stormlancers, which is a roguelike action adventure set in like an 80s anime style thing. It's playable solo or co-op, and it's out today. Any thoughts on Stormlancers?
No, it just looked like a really standard co-op sci-fi thing. A bit like if Split Fiction was purely 2D with no story, and a low budget, and you just ran around as a blue and a red character and just shot lasers, and like purely the sci-fi element of Split Fiction in 2D, I'd say. Yeah.
Next up, we had Dinkum, which comes out on November the 5th, which you've described as Aussie Minecraft.
Yeah, so Dinkum, it's if anyone watches like Aussie Man reviews, like fair Dinkum is like a saying they use over there, like fair play, fair enough, like pretty good. Dinkum is it's Minecraft survival, so you have these little like kind of Minecrafty Roblox characters. The world is very blocky, very whimsical, set in the Australian outback presumably. So it's kind of like Minecraft / Animal Crossing. You build houses, you collect resources, you can theme everything, you can live somewhere, and you live. So I think like just a combination of Animal Crossing, The Sims, Minecraft, like any typical game trying to replicate
it's kind
Minecraft.
Of a life sim kind of thing, with a bit of survival Minecrafty stuff.
Absolutely, but it's from Crafton. So again, Craft and PUBG folks kind of branching out into doing different things, different genres. We've had Callisto Protocol now. They've bought Tokyo Ghostwire Team over there, so we're going to get Hi-Fi Rush. Now we've got Dinkum, so I always think credit where credit's due. Craft, remember, they started off with PUBG, which is a janky piece of shit for all intents and purposes. Yeah. And then they've got the money, they've made their big bucks, and now they're kind of branching out into the wider games world. And I think credit where credit's due sometimes. I think it looks fun. I like the name. I like the whimsy of it. I think Australia gets very little mention in the pop culture world that we all live in. So, and I like Australia, so it's great to see the Aussies get some, I guess, screen time.
Yeah. Next up was Popycom, which is, I want to describe it almost as a cross between something like, say, Splatoon and Ratchet and Clank.
And I'm going to add in Split Fiction again because it's
it's got the co-op elements,
cooperative puzzles. Explore platformed areas with objects in your way, whether it's like shield walls or colourful blocks or slip pads or lasers. And you, as a cooperative group, use your gadgets and weapons to basically get from one end to the other. And if this again had that dialogue, whimsy, and AAA polish, we would be just as good as Split Fiction, no doubt. But it's a little bit cheaper. I believe it might already be out on PC as well. I feel like it's already got Metacritic reviews. I think I read somewhere, so it's a known quantity.
Look, I believe it is out on Steam, and its recent reviews are mostly positive. English reviews are very positive, so it's doing well.
Yeah, coming out this Christmas. So again, it's like just another win. I guess the Switch works quite well. There's a lot of games here as well, by the way, that they showed off that if they're co-op multiplayer, I don't know which ones exactly off the top of my head because it was like an hour-long presentation. They reference the game sharing feature quite a lot. So if you own one copy of the game, you can share it with up to the value of co-op players. So I think they showed like Stardew Valley could be up to 2. I think Popycom was up to 4. So you buy the game once, or one of your friends has this title, or your family member, and you can share it with other Switch devices for free, which I think is, again, back to Split Fiction with the friend share link.
That's good. Stuff like that actually I think would be great for my nephews, because if one of them buys a game, then they can just play together.
Absolutely.
Although game sharing is only Switch 2, is it? Or is it with original Switch?
No, I think it's original. So it's all people in the Switch family. All people, that's cool. All devices. Which works really well because I think if you remember, we grew up with someone in school in primary school who had 2 Dreamcasts, one for him, one for his brother. So they used to have to get like 2 copies of everything to play at the same time. Or obviously you could share, but not as convenient as this.
Well, now I think having say 2 games consoles would be just the standard practice nowadays. But back then that was a weird thing to have. But
if I was growing up now, there's no way in hell I'm waiting for my brother to finish playing, Helldivers for me to have a go. It's like, no, we both want to play it together. So, Mum, Dad, that's £40 times 2, please. Sorry.
Yeah, and also we need 2 PS5s.
And TVs.
Yeah, and TVs, yeah. But wild. Tomodachi Life is a game. It comes out spring 2026. I don't really have anything to say about it.
This is the Dinkum Aussie Man game, but with Wii characters.
Yeah,
it's literally the same thing. It's Animal Crossing with your Mii characters from the Nintendo Wii. So you make your scary, creepy ass faces who have shocking emotive abilities, and you go and live your life, and you go walk around town, make friends, play games. Balance your energy, your movement, your speech levels, and your relationships like The Sims do, and just live in a quaint little village. Think like Disney Dreamlight Valley-esque as well. Like all these, it's basically one of them cozy games, but it pulls on the nostalgia of remember those creepy Miis that you made for the Wii when you sat down there and you made one of your parents and all your whole family. And
I feel like they need to move away from that. The Mii's made sense for the Wii generation because they needed something that looked like you, that could animate easily.
Look like you?
Relatively speaking, yeah.
Yeah. A horrific 2D version of you.
Yeah.
But, it implements the Switch features, and
moving on, Mortal Kombat Legacy is coming to Switch too. I think we already knew that, but we know the dates now. 30th of October, it's coming to the eShop, and the physical release is due on the 12th of December.
Yeah, they made a point in the trail to not show any blood as well, like classic Nintendo Mortal Kombat relationship. It was all just like punches and kicks.
Yeah.
One thing I did find irritating in this Switch presentation as well, a lot of stuff had a different digital release date to the physical, with the physical release often coming a month or two after the digital release at a more expensive price point as well. So it's that thing of like Nintendo throughout the Switch platform generation, they traditionally were the one who did have a bigger attach rate of physical. Since they've gone Switch 2, they seem to be really doubling down on that digital world.
Yeah.
Which, it's a shame, but we always knew it was coming.
I feel with the nature of portable hardware, having a digital game library kind of does make sense a bit.
Absolutely.
More than physical, because it is annoying if you're travelling and you have to keep changing your game cards.
Yeah.
Where if you sit down at your PlayStation, I think you care less about their digital library, because unless you are the sort of person who changes games a lot. Mm-hmm. But as someone who tends to play one game to death, then move on, it's not that hard for me to change games. That being said, I do have 3 discs on my desk at the moment.
You need to get yourself a big shelf behind you.
I've got a cupboard where I put them all away, because these are all games I've been playing recently. So that's why they're in here.
We could get you the same shelf, and then our backdrop will look like it lines up. So my wall goes into your wall, and it just like flows throughout with everyone's collection. Too much effort.
Too much effort, and I also have stuff there.
That's true.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Come to Switch 2, 22nd January. Again, I think this is just an update on the release date. We can talk about Final Fantasy VII if you want, but I'm quite happy to just move past it, yeah. Linked Banner of Spark. Fuzzy Bot's Linked Banner of Spark is a cheerful, colourful action RPG that's part sci-fi roguelite, part relaxed life sim. That's a weird combination. Sound appealing? If so, it launches on Switch and Switch 2 later today. And this is us recording on the day of Switch 2 Direct, so it's out now.
Yeah, it's one of them where I think they're trying to like merge genres to make something fun. So yeah, you kind of go out and fight during the day, and then you get your resources and go back and build a farm at the end of it, in a cottage.
It feels like this is some dude just chucked all the genres into like a random number generator and picked two and went, oh, it's going to be roguelike and it's going to be life sim, and then put some other qualifiers in sci-fi, and relaxed came out.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There could be a good game in there. Hades 2 has got a date, 20th of September. Did we already know that date?
I don't think we knew a date. We knew it was going to... Yeah. It's been in early access, hasn't it? So I think we didn't know like its concrete launch date, because I think people were like, is it going to get its Game of the Year flowers this year? Because it's been in early access for so long, but seemingly yes.
It's another one where you're getting a physical release. It's coming out later. So the digital version's on the 25th of September. The physical will be the 20th of November. Just in time for Christmas.
With a wait. Gamers aren't that patient. So
nope. Hyrule Age of Imprisonment also got a release date. You know what's actually nice? As much as we're kind of glossing over these, it is nice to actually see a presentation where we're going, oh, here's release dates.
I think most things did, bar... No, actually, sorry, I think even Metroid did. Initially on the Metroid trailer, it looked like it wasn't going to, because it ended with the title card, then faded to black, and it was like, oh, you're not doing it again, are you leaving it blank?
Yeah.
And then it kind of came back to life with the date, and it was like, yeah, you better do.
Because it's like, how many presentations do we watch, and one of our criticisms and goes, that's great, but we'd like to know when it's coming, or at least give us a ballpark date when it just comes out eventually. In fact, that's what I would do on if I was a game developer. My first teaser trailer, I would just come up with like release date card, and it just goes coming out eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment comes out November the 6th.
Yeah, it looks really good. If I was to play a Zelda game again, I would probably play Hyrule Warriors, because it's just it's a Muso game, isn't it, from the Dynasty Warriors team, Koei Tecmo. So it's just hack and slash your way through Hyrule with the first king and first queen of Hyrule. So I guess it's like a mega prequel series. Looks really good. Combat looked great. Very frenetic, very active, but with that Zelda aesthetic.
It's expanding the lore of Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, while turning it into, as you say, like a Musou game, a Dynasty Warriors-esque game. Yeah, and so, lots of fun to be had. Yeah,
game share as well.
It does.
So if you want it, share it.
Dragon Quest VII Reimagined is getting a release date of February the 5th next year. This is one that caught me by surprise because I was not expecting a Dragon Quest to be here. Because we've got 1 and 2 2D HD coming out.
Yep.
We've got Dragon Quest 3 a few years ago, 2D HD coming out. So I really wasn't expecting to see another remake of a Dragon Quest game.
Yeah, it caught a lot of people off. I think the art style of it as well, that like almost like weird anime where everyone's eyes seem like extra like wide.
Yeah.
But the gameplay looked very 2.5D Octopath Traveler levels of like gorgeous, little tiny open world.
You know what it is? A lot of the character designs in Dragon Quest, if not all of them, came from Akira Toriyama, the guy who wrote Dragon Ball. So it's like kind of like the art style that he popularized. Mm-hmm. That's what you're seeing. Yeah. But like 3D versions of it.
Yeah, it's cute. It's very cute, and I think with like the music and the gameplay, it's a good step to take.
They are doing that kind of cute, like kind of smaller character kind of version, like they did with some of the remake Zelda games, like Link's Awakening remake.
Yeah, everyone's got stumpy legs.
That one there, if you're watching in the video version. Yeah. February
5th.
I'm interested in this, actually. Because I've only ever played one Dragon Quest and I really enjoyed it.
Interesting.
So, actually, Nat's getting them 1 and 2 2D HD. Right. So, I'm probably going to steal them off her.
That did get a mention at some point in the presentation, but it was part of like one of the montages. So we didn't really like see much. It was just like, oh, and it's still coming out this date. So we must have seen it before at another presentation.
So, and because Nintendo like to change things up, we're getting an update to Nintendo Switch Online for the Switch and the Switch 2. You're getting the Virtual Boy.
This part of the presentation was wild.
But you have to buy a peripheral that looks like the original Virtual Boy, which is horrendous.
Oh, you should have seen it. If you've not checked out the video, go watch it because it's
up. It'll be up now. There's no way I'm not putting that in the edit.
Yeah, like Miyamoto stood there, said Nintendo Switch Online expansion. When they said online expansion, I thought they were just going to basically port the old Virtual Boy games to the Switch, and you were going to play them in some like kind of rudimental, because they're not great. They're just like really mundane.
Yeah,
like Mario Tennis or something where it's just Mario in a VR horrible shade of red. And
for some reason, there's probably a very good technical reason back in the day why.
Oh yeah, but I think it was because it was on your eyes. It was like the infrared screen of it. Like it was, they could only do it with those like quality of pixels or something. But yeah, then all of a sudden this kind of like Virtual Boy replica that I was looking at, just thinking like, oh, they've just done some like high res photos of it for the sake of the presentation, and it was like no, and he opens the front up, slots a Switch 2 in, and you're like, oh, it's basically Nintendo Labo all over again, where they're making you whack your console inside a chunky device just to play Mario Tennis from 1995.
I have actually played a Virtual Boy, I think, at one point, and they are horrendous.
Yeah,
because it doesn't strap onto your head or anything like that. It's on a stand on a table, so you have to either have an adjustable table so it sits nice, or crouch down awkwardly to get your eyes in line.
It's like when you go to the opticians and they make you put your head in that giant machine to check your eyes and stuff, where you got to lean forward, put your chin in the strap, and they scan the laser across your face.
And the entire point of all this is to play some terrible games that were released on a piece of hardware that completely and utterly flopped. It's regarded as one of the worst decisions in Nintendo's history.
Yeah, they went from the Game Boy to the Virtual Boy. Let's put it on your face. But yeah,
cool to have though.
It's that thing it's a piece of nostalgia, and I think Nintendo are definitely playing. They're like, we know you'll buy this for a sheer collector's and nostalgia standpoint.
They know fine well that not that many people are going to buy it.
And it's probably going to be expensive to make up the difference as well. 14 games released: Wario Land, Galactic Pinball, Teleboxer, Red Alarm, Mario Tennis, Jack Bros, whatever that is, Vertical Force, Mario Clash, Golf, just golf, 3D Tetris, normal Tetris, Space Invaders, some game I can't even see because it's in Japanese, and a virtual bowling game, all to be released. And then the best part is coming February 17th, that peripheral. If you don't want to fork out for the original peripheral, which is going to be an expensive one, They're also doing a cardboard model, Richie. And I kid you not, at a presentation from a multi-million-pound company. We know they've done Labo in the past. The screen panned across, and they showed you a cardboard equivalent of this. You're asking me to put my £100 worth of console into a cardboard box to play some shit games from 1995. That's the height of gaming right there, folks.
Yeah.
You've got to applaud them for having the audacity to actually do this for real. And it's not just left on a whiteboard in the head office of going, should we do the Virtual Boy? No, it was shit. No one bought it. Let's move on. No. Hear me out. And somehow it got through R&D, development, the games get ported. That's a lot of investment.
The thing I don't get is I get like, okay, let's just get the Virtual Boy games over on the modern hardware just for the sake of completion of other Nintendo Online. So you're getting everything on there. But you have to have the peripheral.
Yeah.
It's not an optional extra. You have to have it to play these games. Why? Why not just make a version of the game that doesn't require it? Because the cost to make these things must be ridiculous, because they're not going to sell millions of them or anything.
No.
And it's factory. They've got to produce them. Factories have to physically make this. And there's production runs and stuff.
Absolutely crazy. To their credit, though, if you want to play Virtual Boy games from 95... This is going to be the best way to ever play them, because at least the screen quality alone will not give you a headache as much as it did on the original terrible 95 version. It's got to be better than the original. But yeah, Nintendo doing Nintendo weird things. But hey, Virtual Boy is returning, folks. It's saving the VR world. Where PSVR 2 and MetaQuest let us down, Virtual Boy is back to save the day.
Yeah, moving on next to Fatal Frame 2 is getting a remake, which it's reading from Eurogamer. One of the best horror games ever made, as far as I'm concerned, is being remade for Switch 2. The series' classic camera snapping action returns in Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake, out early next year. Another quality Tecmo.
Showed really, really well during the trailer, actually. Very, as you can imagine, Resident Evil, Silent Evil, two twins, something goes wrong with one of them psychologically. Remake graphics look great.
There's always the evil twin.
There's always an evil twin. The horror looked creepy, intense. The musical score was fantastic. I think in a world where lots of these games like Silent Hill and stuff are having like a resurgence, I think it's a really clever time to get like a Switch version or a Nintendo-esque game out. But yeah, it looked really, really well, and the trailer was shot in a way that did offer quite a bit of intrigue for someone who doesn't have a clue what Fatal Frame is. So interesting stuff.
Looks cool. We've got some quick updates to go through. That a bunch of games are getting switched to support, including One Piece Pirates 4, Overcooked 2 is getting camera play, Stardew Valley is getting mouse controls, 4-person split screen, and Game Share. Game Share
for up to 4 people. That's a huge one.
And 5 new levels. A mouse 5 new levels and mouse support for Human Fall Flat.
Yeah, love it.
Mouse support for Human Fall Flat. Okay. Fair enough, if you want that. On the Switch. Okay. It must be there for someone. Power Watch Simulator 2. It's got a release date, of autumn 2025, which is basically now.
Yeah, it's fine. It's one of them. Power Watch is undoubtedly an amazing game in its own right.
Yeah.
Co-op now included with it. And on the Switch. So nothing overly new, but nice to see other games coming over.
Yeah, so we could Game Planet is a fruit matching puzzler.
Yeah, one of the simplest looking ones.
It's there. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, we've finally got a release date of the 12th of December. So this is probably one of the biggies, really. At least I think Nintendo are hoping, because we were talking before where Metroid it's one of them weird ones where it has a solid reputation, a lot of respect around the franchise, but I don't think it's ever had the sales.
Yeah, it's definitely
outside of maybe Super Metroid.
Yeah, it ain't in the Mario family, it ain't in the Zelda family. It's the kind of like the next tier down, where it's always revered well, but doesn't sell as well. Yeah. It's one of them Metroid. It's a bit of a kind of blank spot in my gaming history. They did show off in the trailer that Samus has a bike now. Like very Tron-esque. So you're going to be able to explore the world a little bit quicker in third person on the bike and doing some combat and then jumping off the bike into first person. So it showcased maybe a little bit more what the game's about. I still can't help but just look at it and go like, it just looks like a poor man's Doom. graphically looks weak.
Yeah,
Gameplay looks slow compared to like the frenetic nature of what we used to with Doom. And yeah, she turns into a ball, but
I never really liked the look of the Metroid Prime games because they try to turn Metroid into a first-person shooter. It still has this roguelike elements to it. Well, not roguelike elements. It still has this Metroidvania elements to it. But I think Metroid's always done better as a 2D side-scroller. Although that being said, the Prime series is revered, so...
What was the kind of horror tinge one we got out like 2 years ago? Metroid Dread? Was that the one that came out? That was the last 2.5.
Yeah, I think so.
2021. Jeez, time goes so quickly.
It does.
Metroid Dread. That was received and reviewed very, very well, and that was more of your classic Metroid, which somehow came out before Metroid Prime 4, which was been in work and development for so much longer. But we know this whole game was like scrapped and canned about 5 years ago and restarted. So it's an interesting position. But I'm finally glad we got a date because a lot of people suspected this was a Switch 2 launch title.
Yeah, because it was originally announced for the Switch.
Yeah, but Samus has a bike now.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Big takeaway.
Yeah. Even bigger takeaway, Donkey Kong Bonanza, has got 2 DLCs out now.
Yeah.
DK Island and Emerald Rush.
Yeah, it's not quite 2 DLCs in the traditional sense. Is Donkey Kong Island is now one of the tier levels, because you go through all like the gradients of the world, I guess. You break through them, you break down to different layers. Donkey Kong Island is one of those layers. It's where DK lives. And the Emerald Rush is basically like a roguelike mode they've added in, where you work for the villain in the game and you collect emeralds for him. So you use the Donkey Kong Smash ability, run around within a time limit, collect as many emeralds as you can, trade them into him. He gives you upgrades, and then everything resets at the end. So you go in, upgrade your perks like Emerald Collector faster, break emeralds quicker, like all those like typical like RPG elements. And go around, you get like a bonus quota for time limits and stuff, and multipliers, stuff like that. So they've basically took Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is albeit a fantastic game, give you another explorable level, which is Donkey Kong's home, which is like quite personable, and then they've added like a whole different game mode, which you can then go back into all of the other tiered levels that you've explored in the actual main game and complete this like roguelike mode within those worlds. So it's added quite a lot, ironically, layers to Donkey Kong Bonanza.
And yeah, you are right to point out that while it does specify as if it is 2 separate DLCs, it is a single paid package. So you buy it and you get both of these DLCs effectively. They are one thing. One
and the same, yeah. But it's nice to see them supporting it with such a quick turnaround. It's arguably Nintendo's biggest game of the year. Received very well. It's going to be in a lot of Game of the Year conversations. So getting some DLC out of it ahead of the Game Awards, very smart.
Yeah. Next, we'll move on to the Pokemon section, where we've got Pokemon Pokopia, which you play as Ditto.
Very creepy Ditto. It was very creepy. It started off with a Pokeball, and when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, I'm getting excited. Are we going to get like a remake of maybe Gold and Silver?" Because that's what I'm waiting for. It's my like next up. We've had, what did we have? We've had Let's Go, which was Red, Blue, and Yellow. We've had Sapphire and which one did we have?
Oh, well,
Diamond
in
and
Pearl? In terms of remakes, we've had Fire Red, Leaf Green. We've had Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
On Switch, like modern remakes.
Right, a modern, yeah. Yeah, we had Diamond and Pearl, and we've had the Let's Go, but I wouldn't really consider them to be proper remakes. They're separate games, in my view, rather than a full proper remake.
So there's still a lot. So I thought it was going to be that, and then they basically show Ditto, which some people know, some people don't, and then he basically finds a Pokédex, transforms into presumably his previous owner with those horrible dead Ditto eyes, where it's like they just look like a creep. Heads out into a Minecraft-looking world, very blocky. Bumps into a wild Bulbasaur, who obviously, because Ditto's a Pokemon, they can converse. So Bulbasaur just speaks to him and says, "Oh, I've found some grass. It's green. It's green and it's great." And Ditto goes, "Hang on a minute. I have Bellsprout arms because I can turn into any Pokemon." Makes some leafage and learns the power, the trick leafage. for Bulbasaur. So basically, this would be where it's like the Animal Crossing equivalent of like planting a garden.
It's Animal Crossing,
Yeah.
but you're playing as Ditto. Pokemon.
Meets a Squirtle, meets a Charmander, and seemingly the more you build and the more you level up, the more Pokemon characters you unlock into the wild. It's almost like you're returning nature back to the Pokemon, and you build a little hut, you've got tomatoes growing, and it's just, basically a bunch of Pokemon led by Ditto living in a Minecraft world, and you know what? It looked good. Like, it looked really good. The music was sound, it's just Pokemon, but it just looked whimsical and fun. So
it's
Pokemon,
also Koei Tecmo.
Yeah, Koei Tecmo and Nintendo clearly brokered a deal behind the scenes. But aside from Ditto's creepy dead eyes, Pokemon Pokepia looks good. It's got a good ring to it. Available next year.
We got yet even more trailers for Pokemon ZA. A few new Mega Pokemon announced, that kind of thing. We also got the announcement of the DLC, the Mega Dimensions DLC.
Which is mad. The game isn't even out, and they're talking about paid DLC for a game that hasn't launched yet. It was like, could you imagine if any other publishers did something like this? You're trying to sell us more before the game's out.
Most publishers do it.
Seems odd, though, that I don't know.
It seems odd because it's Pokemon, but Assassin's Creed does it all the time.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think I was disappointed because I thought it was going to be an announcement for like another game, and I saw Raichu, and it said X and Y. Yeah. Like Raichu did like a lightning attack, and it went X, and then it went Y, and it was like, oh shit, they're remaking X, Y, and I went, no, it's Mega Dimension DLC, and Raichu's tail happens to take the shape of a X and a Y, and it was like, oh.
So Raichu's getting 2 Mega Evolutions, an X variant and a Y variant, basically.
Yeah. So.
And seemingly it has something to do with the legendary Pokemon Hooper.
Yeah.
Which is the Pokemon at the start of the trailer.
I hope it reviews well. My interest in ZA's gone like...
Really?
Don't know why. I don't know why. It's just not doing it for me.
I'm still interested, but I don't have a Switch 2, so I'm going to wait for a Switch 2.
To materialise.
Next up, we got Danganronpa 2x2.
Yeah, I think it's a remake, because it said 2, and then in the trailer they kind of did like a fancy animation. It went 2x2. It's like squared, maybe. It's like Danganronpa squared. I know these are like beloved classic games, but I'm not too sure what it's actually about.
Yeah. Dynasty Warriors Origins comes January the 22nd.
Yeah, Switch port a year later, but with new DLC and story campaign added in. So nice to see more AAA third-party games coming across the Switch.
Yeah, again, Monster Hunter Stories 3 comes March the 13th. We then got a random montage including games such as FC26, 2 Point Hospital, more Dragon Quest stuff, Lego Voyages, Little Nightmares, Persona 3 Reloaded, Virtua Fighter 5. They're the ones that we picked up.
No, that was pretty much it. It was just like a very quick 1-minute montage of just, what else is coming back? Clearly the developers and publishers that didn't want to pay to be in the presentation.
Yeah. February the 27th is Resident Evil Day for Nintendo fans because you're getting Biohazard, Village, and Requiem.
Yeah, they started off, they showed a clip of the same trailer we've already seen from the Gamescom event. It's the new protagonist in there with her mum, the power goes off, it shows you going to the old Raccoon City remnants to do some research about her parents, and for the first time I've just realised there's a Heineken sponsor and the pub in the main street at this trailer, which is like, I've never seen an official beer brand in a game before, so Heineken sneaking into the Resident Evil franchise, it would appear. Again, Requiem doesn't need more to be really shown off now. I'm ready for it. What I will say, though, is obviously we've had Biohazard and Village on the Switch before, but in cloud-only version, so this is the first time they're playable natively on Switch hardware. So
I believe it's Switch 2 only.
Yes, there's a very good reason they went on the Switch one.
Yes.
Where are you sitting with Requiem, actually? Because obviously we've played through Village and 7 together. Are you hyped for this one, or is it still not a game you would play on your own?
It's just not a game I'm particularly interested. I respect them, but I'm not interested in playing them.
Secondary to that, then, why would you bring Biohazard and Village out on the same day Requiem launches? You'd think you'd want to spread them out a little bit, like leading up to it.
give them out each a week or something at least.
I mean, just some breathing room. Yeah, like what if you've never played any of these 3 titles? Are you going to go chronologically? Are you going to buy them all at once, or are they going to see a weird dip of people buying Biohazard, buying Village, then buying Requiem 3 months later?
I don't
it's just an odd choice, right?
Yeah, it is no choice. I think maybe they're just ready to go, so they'll just send them all together.
Gold editions as well.
And to wrap up this Switch Direct, we got another Fire Emblem game. Fortune's Weave.
Cool name.
Yeah, it's more Fire Emblem. I've never played a Fire Emblem game, but it's your kind of grid-based strategy games.
Yeah, this kind of like just fell flat at the end for me because similar to you, I don't really know anything about. I know they're very beloved, but to end the showcase with that, I was like, man.
I bet you it's one of them series where if you got into it, they've probably tell some amazing stories.
Yeah.
And that is all we have time for you with the Switch Direct section of the show. So let's move on, Chris, to Borderlands 4. Overall, I think it was actually fairly solid. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not that interested in, but we got a lot of dates on things that we've been waiting on dates for. There's some new stuff there. There wasn't a big killer IP for me there. That made me go, ooh, fantastic, but...
Yeah, the show was very top-heavy with Mario, which I think they were always going to do because of the anniversary, which kind of kickstarted off really, really well, and then it kind of fizzled its way through the middle bit again. A lot of games, again, I guess because we cover them on a weekly basis, we've seen a lot of these titles on other platforms that we've covered. So I guess if you're just a Switch fan, and I know in our Discord, shout out to all the folks who were watching along live in the Discord server, they were popping off. There was a lot of people saying like they use the Switch more than any console now. And I guess if you are that way inclined, or your preferences have leaned that way to the portable world or just the Switch, this is fantastic.
For the similar reasons, so I understand it entirely.
This is like, it's becoming their go-to console, so the more and more games that come over, whether they are a few years old like Resident Evil or they're just getting a port like Power Wash Simulator or something, it's great, but then they're subsidised even more with the amazing exclusives. So I think, probably great for some people, like top level, a bit middling for others. I was expecting something more from the Pokemon one, but that's just my preference. But I think overall, decent showcase, but yeah.
See, I wasn't expecting anything. I'm actually even surprised that Pokemon Legends ZA is there again, because I feel like we're constantly seeing it at the moment.
Yeah.
It's nice to get a date finally for Metroid Prime 4. Again, I was quite happy to see another Dragon Quest game coming, and another remake, which gives me an opportunity to play an older game when I eventually get round to it. And then there's a lot of stuff that's cool to see, like the Galaxy games coming over. The Resident Evil games coming over. So I think if you look at it, there's good stuff for everyone there.
Yep.
Well, right. Borderlands 4, Chris. The reviews are out.
And it's good. Surprisingly well. Borderlands been creeping up on us, kind of came out of nowhere. Borderlands 3 feels like it was yesterday, but... critics didn't get any early access outside of PC code, so there's a bit of a narrative around this at the moment where it runs pretty poorly on a lot of PCs, and reviewers have only had a chance to review it on PC, so no console reviews necessarily out there yet. So performance and frame rate and Unreal Engine issues aside, the game itself seemingly is being reviewed very, very well. To pull a few examples from Metacritic, I'll go with right at the very top, with a, let's see, I always try to pull from a person we know. Screen Rant, no, I won't give them, they give a very short review. Jill Shockers gave it a 9 out of 10. They said, if you already love the Borderlands franchise, even the third game, you're guaranteed to love the newest addition to this chaotic and bombastic looter-shooter. Borderlands 4 is undoubtedly my favourite Borderlands game to date. It is a culmination of everything that the franchise has done before, thus far, and leans into something new. Be it new traversal, quality of life improvements that make the hunt for the perfect legendary all the more palpable, or even the vastly improved writing, Borderlands 4 excels in everything its predecessors struggled with. The sheer diversity of characters, gear, and ways to have fun is never ending, and the open world format is a surprisingly welcome addition to the amazing co-op FPS. Borderlands 4 is a leap in the right direction, and I can only hope that this trend continues upwards for the rest of the franchise. That's a decent one to kickstart us off with. I did watch the IGN review because IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. And in their review, I actually didn't realise through the marketing that this was leaning more into an open world. So it's fully explorable from the get-go. They've added new mechanics in for traversal, so you've got your typical like slide and stuff, but they've added in double jump, they've added in a grapple hook, so actually areas that in previous games you wouldn't otherwise be able to get to, you can, when combat kicks off and there's enemies everywhere, you can just get around more frenetically. A bit like Apex Legends, it seems just a bit more dynamic and frenetic, which a lot of the reviews have said actually that like the movement alone makes it feel fresher than the previous entries. Typical artistic license with that cell shading, looks really good, very colourful. Enemies, when you shoot them, apparently a lot of the weapons have had like refinements where I think there's a gun that leaves like little coloured rainbow dots all over when the bullets land on the floor. So like
they've always had weird guns. I remember having might have been Borderlands 2, the Infinity gun that always shot in an infinity like pattern.
Yeah,
and had unlimited ammo.
Loads of nice things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Games Radar, just to, I guess, to give a... Actually, we'll go VGC. VGC, give it a 8 out of 10. They said, Borderlands 4 is a great RPG shooter with rewarding, engrossing gameplay. Some of the set dressing, like the new characters and pointless grappling hook, take the shine off, but the sheer amount of fun that we've had to make the game, we can't be overlooked. Borderlands 4 reminds us exactly why we're such big fans of the original 2 games, and the fall on its sword in learning the mistakes of 3. I didn't realise 3 was so poorly received.
No, I thought it was just... generally
more Borderlands.
Received as it's more Borderlands. It didn't really do enough to do anything.
Yeah,
because I've always took 3 as I enjoyed 3, but if I had the itch to play Borderlands, I'd play 2 of the pre-sequel instead.
Yeah, absolutely. And our friends over at Windows Central also gave it an 8. They said, Borderlands 4 delivers the ultimate Vault Hunter experience, a dazzling gem where every system from gunplay to movement to loot shines with obsessive care. I'm struggling to find any faults beyond some lackluster performance hiccups that don't really dampen the chaos. Honestly, the writing this review pulls me away from blasting slitters and chasing legendaries, and I'm dying to dive back into Kairos. I've also seen it be praised for getting away from its cheesy Borderlands writing sometimes. You know, that over-the-top, cheesy, tongue-in-cheek humour that I guess Borderlands in a way is known for. I think a lot of people had an issue with 3 of saying like fat jokes and fat references and stuff like that. They're a bit dated by 2020 standards. And it seems like they've maybe matured a little bit with their script writing. Not that the story was ever like massive for me in Borderlands. But yeah, it's a franchise that I think I've outgrew. I think I thoroughly enjoyed playing 1 and 2. We played 3 on stream with you, me and Tom, if you remember, on Google Stadia. Really, really enjoyed that. But then, yeah, when 4 was announced, I didn't get round to playing Tales of the Borderlands or The Tales of the Borderlands. Remember when that came out and went in the summer?
Yes.
And they didn't even promote it or market it. Just done. And then, yeah, when 4 was announced, I was like, yeah, great. But I just feel like it's one of the franchises that's gone beyond me. But I'm happy to see it kind of... I guess rekindle some of the joy that made it the original looter shooter in the first place. So yeah, I guess you're going to speak to your brother about this because I know he's a huge Borderlands 2 fan in particular.
No, I'm not really interested in it, to be honest. I don't have time to play that.
Do you think your brother will be though, as a Borderlands specific gamer?
Possibly. I don't know. No, I'll probably speak to him at some point, but it is one where I would be very interested to see how it reviews on consoles, because if you go to the Steam store page and you read, even the positive reviews are commenting on the poor optimization, and there's people with like top-end hardware having frame drips built beneath 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
And even when they've turned down the settings to low, so it's like... it feels a bit, reading some people's reviews, a bit undercooked in terms of the optimization. So I do want to see how it performs on consoles.
Yeah.
Because theoretically it should be better optimized when it comes to consoles. Which is kind of weird, though, that they only give out PC codes, though.
Yeah.
When it seems to be not performing well.
Yeah. When I heard the other day that the codes had been withheld and they were only offering PC only... I did worry that we were going to go into this show going like, it's a 6, it's a 7. Like, performance issues aside, they're withholding it for... I don't know why, but the game felt rushed out, and I don't know if it's the whole Randy Pitchford thing, and the industry doesn't like him anyway, so there's like a bad juju around the game's development. Obviously, Gearbox got sold mid-development of this from Embracer back to Take-Two, so there's been a bit of behind-the-scenes, like, money shuffling and restructuring and layoffs, and you're like, in the last game, The Tales of the Borderland performed utter shit. So you do wonder, like, is this the last roll of the dice? But seemingly they've managed to pull themselves together and put out something that the game is good, but yeah, performance. This is one of them games where I think the time of year it comes out, maybe hold off and just pick it up as a bargain in Black Friday when it's been patched to hell over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that would be my advice. I'd probably hold off, let the console reviews come out. If you're looking at the console version, wouldn't just go straight in.
Yeah.
And if you're on the PC version, give it 6 months.
Yeah, pick it up for a bargain in the new year.
Give it 6 months and go back to the Steam store and see what people are saying in more recent reviews. Has it fixed its thing? Because that's the one nice thing that Steam does. You have the overall reviews and you have recent reviews.
Yeah.
So you can see how the game was originally perceived and how it is now. So we got some additions to the PlayStation Plus catalogue, Chris, this week. Where do we want to start with this? Because there was quite a few.
I'd just rattle through them. Yeah, there's not a great deal. Big hitter. Again, this is the game catalogue for Extra and Premium. So 2K25, WWE. Fantastic. If you've not bought that already, great wrestling game. Go enjoy it. Persona 5 Tactica is there. Green Hill. Fate, Samurai Remnant.
Green Hell. I read it as Green Hill first time.
Green Hill Zone.
It's a survival. It's an open world survival simulator set in Sonic's first ever level.
Yeah, Crow Country, The Invincible, which has some cool art. Conscript, and then for the Legacy Classic ones, you got Legacy of Kain Defiance coming to PlayStation Classics, which is the original PS2 action adventure game, Legacy of Kain. Nice to see that getting a bit of a glow up, but yeah, a couple more additions. Nothing to write home about, I think, with that one. Some
nice added additions to the catalogue. Again, adding to the features, PlayStation have added a family app, so you can keep on top of your kids and what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition. I think in a world,
I actually think this is a fantastic addition because parents and tech don't always mash that well.
They don't.
Kids tend to outstrip their parents' knowledge of tech. So making it making it easier for parents to control their kids and what they're exposed to.
Yeah,
that is always going to be good news.
Yeah, as someone who's got a very, very young daughter, and I'm thankfully many, many years away from this now. But everyone, you've seen a look at the news, don't you? The state of the world right now, to kind of like protect where you can from that. And I think at such a young age, there's like, I hear stories from my wife's a school teacher. You hear stories from schools now of just like stuff that kids are aware of and exposed to. They're not kids any longer. Like, I hear stuff from like 10, 11-year-olds that's like, I was still like I didn't even know like swear words when I was that old, and yet these kids are like aware of like the wars going on and radicalization and like all the stuff with the flags going on in the UK right now and the boats and immigration, everything like that. It's like, you're 10, you're 11, like go outside and play. Like, stop worrying about it. So yeah, anything from a platform standpoint that protects children is fantastic. I know there's a lot of stuff the UK government are doing right now to kind of safeguard kids. There's a lot of stuff. Corporations are now realising that actually they have some ownership to both parents and children to protect them. So yeah, PlayStation app available now, managing just like parental controls, expenditure, which I guess is good for the parents' credit card standpoint.
Playtime,
activity reports, like how much have they been on.
When can they play and how long can they play for in any given session?
Restricting it, it's gone are the days. I don't know about you, but my dad used to come in and take the... First it would start with turning the TV off, then it would be take the plug out of the wall, then it would be take the fuse out of the plug out of the wall, just to deter us from playing that thing. And you know what? Me and my brother, we learned how to wire a fuse in a plug from that. But if he had content filters and social interaction tracking and privacy forms and just anything to protect, I guess, the youth of today in a world, especially connected to the internet, where it's just such a horrible place, aside from this channel, of course. Great. Good on them.
There's a big one I think that's important, is moderated online interactions.
Yeah.
Because if I was a parent, I'd be very, very cautious about my kids playing online games.
Yeah. We've done it. Yeah. I've done it in my place of work, of just like, I guess we really kind of missed the boat on that one, where like I remember playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and having like dickheads and assholes in the live chat, but I would just mute them and move on. Yeah. And not really think about it. But like, there's a lot of forums now. I know Roblox gets absolutely dragged across the coals for it, because you're just talking to anyone and these people can ask for your details, they can sway people, they can be very influential. Like, the most weird to worry about, Richie, was a dude pulling up in a white van and offering you sweets to get in. like outside of your school. Whereas now it's like they can get you at home while you're playing Minecraft. They can ask you to give addresses away. Oh, just go get your mum and dad's bank details and we'll help you out. I'll help you finish this Fortnite game and I'll trade you a skin for the sort code and account number. And you think, like, if you're like a 10-year-old, very influential, like you could be convinced with someone rocking up going, I will help you complete this mission or defeat this boss on a raid, and all I need from you is X, Y, Z. And as like an influential like little child, like it could be very, very easy to just go, yeah, okay, you're my online friend. Maybe you're lonely. Maybe you're looking to like just for friendship. It's so easy to fall on these rabbit holes as a young person. It's horrible. I
firmly believe that if a game has in-app purchases, it should be immediately given a 16+ rating.
I'd agree with that.
And if it's got random chance purchases, 18+, and a gambling warning.
Yeah, and this is where notifications, I guess, through this app would be really helpful. Like if you were at work and your kid finished school early and they jump onto, let's say, Fortnite or something, and they're browsing and they're exploring, and you get a notification that says your kid's interacting with 10 strangers right now. Do you know who they're talking to? Do they know who they're talking to? Just so as a parent or a guardian, you can act on that in the best of interest. Like, not to take their life away and be Big Brother controlling them, but at the end of the day, you've got to protect your kids, and the internet is doing a shit job at it right now. I don't know.
I think what would be great would be, sometimes if you use your bank card and you have to prove something and use your phone to approval, that kind of thing. So if your kid tries to spend some money and you're at work, ping, your phone goes off, you look at your phone, go, decline. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you still can through your banking apps to a degree, but it's just, it's social media in general and the bigger connected world and how much children consume things. I think on average they're on TikTok for 2 hours a day. If you're between 10 and 15-year-old, 2 hours a day on TikTok, which, and again, we watch TV for probably longer than that and played games, but it's the influence TikTok has and the content they're seeing. I don't know about you, but the story this week about that assassination that happened in America.
Yeah.
The night that happened, my social media feeds, I saw the footage of that about 10 times over through different feeds, and I don't follow anything that follows that type of politics or anything like that, but it was in my feed and it was graphic as shit, and I've seen it several times. So I was like, if I'm a 11-year-old and I'm on TikTok for 2 hours, that's going to probably get in my algorithm, and I'm going to wake up the next day or go to bed that night, go, Mum, Dad, I just saw someone be shot. Yeah, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. So yeah, just don't give them phones. Give them a Nokia 2310 and let them live out the best snake life before bed.
Indeed. We got moving on from assassinations and Nokias. Neil Druckmann's been talking about Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. I'm just going to go through this quickly because we need to wrap up the show. But the devs are firing on all cylinders. It's going to be the most expansive Naughty Dog game to date, where he did talk about how with Last of Us and Uncharted 4, they took these like narrow linear corridors and opened them up in sections.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot more of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Troy Baker and Tony Dalton have both been cast. The lead, what's her name?
Jordan A. Munn is the character, and it's Tatiana Gabrielle. If memory serves me right,
has been very essential to actually fleshing out the character. It actually wasn't a work with Last of Us. Neil Druckmann was talking and saying he invited her to audition for the role. And thought she had an interest in taking what the character would be, because he only had the kind of bare bones fleshed out, and they kind of been working on the character together. Yeah, which is cool.
And she was in the Uncharted movie as well, so she's connected to slightly to Naughty Dog and their heritage too. I think we'll see more of the Heretic at the Game Awards this year. I think Neil might show up with Jeff on stage and go like, "We've got this," and I think we might get a date. Because if you think at that point, Ghost of Tsushima will be out and Ghost of Tsushima, Yote, is out in like 2 weeks, Richie. Like 2 and a bit weeks, and it's here. Like the big, like for us, probably like one of the most exciting AAA games, like a known quantity this year. Mere weeks away.
We have 2 copies coming, one for me, one for my girlfriend.
Back to the point we just said about buying 2 copies.
Then we're going to trade one in. Then we're going to trade one in when we're done.
I love it. Weirdly enough, for my copy, I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and it says coming the 4th of October, and then I looked and it was like, hang on a minute, the release date's the 2nd. Why is Amazon sending me a pre-order 2 days after the release date? And I was like, I'm sure they'll sort it out come the day of launch. It might just be like a back-end thing. But I'm like, it's a pre-order, so I'm ahead of the curve of getting my order in, so I want it on day one. Amazon, don't fuck me over here.
Well, honestly, this is that sort of stuff, like, if you've pre-ordered something, you've done so because you want it when it comes out. That's why you pre-order.
Absolutely.
So I'd expect it to be there the day of.
I'll be very sad if not.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to see more about Intergalactic, the Heretic, Prophe, because although Neil Druckmann's talking about it, he didn't really go into too much. I think he's adding some more RPG elements in.
Yeah, it was a variety interview just about like things in general. I think more so about The Last of Us success and the award nominations is up for, and him or his lack of involvement in season 3. But we said at the time when the internet was trying to kick off and say like, "Oh, he's left it. The show's shit. It's abandoned." All that. I was like, remember, this guy runs a massive multi-million-dollar success, arguably one of the, if not the best studio of all time. Exactly. And how do you feel going into it? It's like, yeah, he might just need to focus on his actual job. And it's been a long time. We've not had a Naughty Dog game this generation yet.
Nope. Well, if you include The Last of Us remakes.
I don't.
Remasters, yeah. Which
I do not.
You shouldn't. To wrap up the show, Football Manager 26 has finally got a release date. It's actually coming out this year, November the 4th. And it's had a massive graphic overhaul.
Yeah, one of our friends showed you it at my house party last week, and you thought it was an old clip from FIFA or something.
Well, yeah, I was looking at it and going, FIFA looks a bit shit this year. I was like, oh no, it's Football Manager.
It looks great for Football Manager, but shit for FIFA, yeah. It was like the live 3D simulations, wasn't it? Look a bit more, the little dots moving around the screen than I'm familiar with. But never really played Football Manager. My cousin was massively into it because of the statistics and the data analysis, where you're basically playing Spreadsheet Simulator with football skin over it. But I know you've played it. You've dabbled in a couple of them, and, especially on, was it Stadia version on your phone for the remote element of it?
Yeah, I played a bit of it, but the height of my Football Manager was like FM14, so it's been a while since I've properly got sucked into your
career.
Yeah. And that is all we have time for this week. We like to round up every single episode with this day in video game history, starting on September the 12th. What have you got for me, Chris?
I've got, on my shelf behind me, 19 years ago today, 2006, Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, which is where they went back to do the original movies after the original Lego game did so well. And like, oh shit, we should go back and do more movies. That one's a good shout out. Another top one is 7 years ago in 2018. We had Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which was the middle one, if I'm not mistaken, of the trilogy.
No, that was the last one.
Wow, so it's been 7 years since we got Tomb Raider. Yeah. So it's been 10 years since Uncharted, 7 years since Tomb Raider. Why don't we get more of good things, Richie?
Yeah. Well, no years ago on the Sega Borderlands 4.
Borderlands 4, no years ago.
16 years ago on the DS, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which are the remakes of Gold and Silver.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Nintendo would just port them. Just port them over. Like, just not even on Switch Online. I will pay money. Like, 8 years ago, we got Ace 8 Lacrimosa Radana, which I actually think is a fantastic game, which I really enjoyed when I played that. I played that back on Stadia. I do actually have it on PlayStation because I think it came as a PlayStation Plus claimable one at some point.
13th of September for me. We got both Burnout Legends on the PSP, and we got Burnout Revenge on the PS2 and Xbox. So we got a simultaneous launch across 2 platforms. Back when handhelds got a slightly different version of the normal game, similar to, remember when we got 2 Assassin's Creed games, one for last gen, one for current gen. It's like, we'll just make 2 separate games. It was like, that'll help our game development pipeline.
11 years ago on 3DS, Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS and the Wii U. So there were separate versions. Borderlands 3, 6 years ago.
Nice.
Bioshock the Collection, 9 years ago.
And then to end on a terribly bad one, 14th of September, 15 years ago in 2010, we got The Lord of the Rings, Aragorn's Quest, which I do own. I got it for the Wii. And it was one of those where you use the wiggle stick to control the sword, and it was bad. It was bad. Yeah. I don't think I got past the opening level because of how poor it was. As a huge Lord of the Rings fan, it's wield a sword, a shield, a bow, and a spear. Fans will battle enemies, lead armies onto the journey of a colourful and fresh rendition of Middle-earth. Players can switch between weapons and on horseback, taking down foes. But yeah, it's one of those games that leaned into the nunchuck and Wii Remote features, and and
But
the
didn't do it
PlayStation
well.
Move ones. I think there was a DS version which probably used like the stylus pen as an alternative to the Wiggle remotes. It's definitely down there with the Gollum game as far as Lord of the Rings ports, but
motion controls can work, but you have to be good at developing for them. But
yep, absolutely.
And that is all we have time for the show. If you've liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you're kept in the loop of all fantastic content here at GamerGuildTV. Follow us on social medias, every link's in the description below. And you know what? Go join the Discord. There's some awesome people waiting to have a conversation about video games with you. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been Richie.
I've been Chris.
GG everyone. Goodbye.
Do.